Hi, welcome to Travel with Austin. I'm Austin, and today we're going to be talking about the history of the old Licking County Jail located in Newark, Ohio. The old Licking County Jail was built between 1888 and 1889 on the site of an old lumber yard in Newark, Ohio. The land was purchased for $11,000, which in today's money would be over $330,000. The jail was made of Millerberg stone, more particularly a pink sandstone, which has sadly changed colors over the years. The jail was designed by J. W. Yost in a Queen Anne style and was built for the cost of $120,000, or in today's money, over $3.5 million. During its operation, the jail did not have proper ventilation, lighting, or dining areas. It also lacked a fire escape and sprinklers. Despite this, the jail was open until 1987. The basement of the jail is where inmates would be taken to be booked. They would go through the normal booking procedures and then be placed into the dungeon, which is the nickname of the two large cells in the basement. It is also called the drunk tank. Once they were done being processed, and once a cell was available for them, they would be taken to it. The basement is also home to the chapel area, a food storage area, the furnace room, and the warden's quarters. Now, unlike our traditional definition of a warden, this warden was not in charge of the jail, but instead was a trusted inmate who would help out around the jail by cleaning, mopping, and doing yard work. The first floor of the prison is where we see the first cell block. This floor was meant for male inmates. There are 8 cells, each containing 4 beds, and inmates would eat in their cells as the prison lacked proper dining areas. This cell block is also home to the most infamous story of the jail. Deputy Carl Etherington was a supporter of the temperance movement and prohibition. Licking County at the time had voted to become a dry county, although many did not want to enforce these laws, and people such as Carl were deputized. Carl was serving a notice to an illegal saloon, and when he did, an angry mob formed. Deputy Carl became scared for his life and shot one of them out of fear. This person died, and the person that he shot was a former Newark police officer. The mob that had formed beat the deputy, and so did the Newark police as they arrested him. He was taken back to the Licking County Jail, but his time there wouldn't last long. Thousands of Newark citizens learned of the incident and broke into the jail, dragging him out of the jail by the north door on the cell block. They took him to a nearby telephone pole where they hung him, killing him. He was only 17 years old. The front portion of the first floor is currently where the offices of the preservation group are, along with their shop. Historically, this area was part of the sheriff's living area and included the dining room, the kitchen, a formal living room, and the sheriff's office. The second floor cells were also a cell block for men, and followed the same design as the first floor. When the prison first opened, there was no running water, and prisoners had to use slop buckets. Running water was, of course, later added on to the building. The third cell block was also identical to the other two, and it was also for men. There were many suicides in the jail during its operation, including multiple suicides by hanging, many of which happened in this cell block alone. The fourth floor cell block was the only cell block in the jail for women, and was not identical to the blocks below it. One of the most notable deaths in the jail happened on this floor. Mae Varnier was a middle-aged woman living in Licking County. She was suicidal and had attempted to end her life by taking sleeping pills. She was rushed to the local hospital, and her stomach was pumped, saving her life. Now, at the time, it was considered common for the jail to take in those who were mentally unstable and needed to be watched. They determined that Mae was one of these people and took her in. She was booked, just like a criminal would be, and was taken to a cell on the fourth floor. She begged the guard to just let her go, saying that she would just attempt suicide again as soon as she got out. The guard left her alone in her cell, and at the time, Mae was the only person in the fourth floor cell block. Now Mae took out a match she had concealed on herself and used it to set herself on fire. She was booked at the jail on July 13th, 1953 at 8 p.m., and by 9 p.m. she was removed from the building after having set herself on fire and later died from her burns. Outside of the woman's cell block was the matron's quarters. The matron was a live-in who took care of the female prisoners, and sometimes held other duties. The last matron at the Licking County Jail was also the head cook. She lived in the apartment with her 2 kids. Once the matron position was deemed no longer needed, her apartment was converted to other uses, such as the commissary. A narrow staircase in the matron's quarters led down to the second floor living area. The second floor living area was the sheriff's quarters, where he and his family would live. One of the rooms down here was referred to as the Oval Office by a former sheriff, and in the sheriff's bedroom, which sits in the northeast corner of this floor, 4 sheriffs would die of heart attacks. The jail closed in 1987 and was moved to a new building about a half-mile down the road. The jail sat abandoned for many years, with a few different uses, until the Licking County Governmental Preservation Society bought the building. It is now open for ghost hunts, photography, and tours. All profits made by the LCGPS are used to help preserve and restore historic buildings in Licking County, such as the jail. I hope you all enjoyed this brief history tour of the prison. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. It really helps a lot. And I will see you guys with a brand new video.